Good evening, everyone. It's Friday once again, and welcome to my man cave. Welcome to Man Cave version 2.0. We're working on doing some renovations here in the man cave, so I've moved some things around. I'm on the other end of the man cave than we were. So, Jeff, good evening.
Hey,
Uh, Tanya, awesome. Tanya's upstairs. Andy's with us. Good deal. Andy, glad you could join us. Andy's cook, his charity cook went really well. I saw him posting some stuff about that. So let's have a drink. Let's kick off our Friday night with the drink like we always do. I am going to turn this bottle of this Jack Daniels Black Label Bonded into a dead soldier and crack into a new one to get a good glass going here. Uh, I've become in a very short time. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this Black Label Jack Daniels Bonded. It's good. It's not single barrel select good, but it's good, and I'm real happy with this. I was just telling Jeff he needed to give it a try. Jeff, you're having a drink with us tonight, right?
yep. Uh, we talked a little bit off air, and I told you that didn't think I'd buy this again. After having a couple more sips of it, it's not too bad. The benchmark number 8.
Benchmark, yeah. Benchmark is Buffalo Trace's entry level, and it's very reasonably priced. A fifth of Benchmark is less than $20. I don't remember what the price tag on it is. Tanya, you having a drink with us tonight?
I am. Check this out.
All
Oh, good.
right.
She's had the Jura going up there. I heard her grinding some coffee beans when I was up there earlier, so I knew the Jura was coming out. Excellent. Russ, glad you could be with us. Russ is having some red wine, so we turned that one into a dead soldier. So, but I had a backup. I was
May it
out
rest in
earlier.
peace.
Say what? Yeah,
May it
I'm
rest in
gonna give.
peace.
I give these empty whiskey bottles to a girl that I work with. She makes light fixtures with them, puts light bulbs in them and stuff. So it's pretty good. Scott's having a Tito's martini. Okay, Auckland, New Zealand's in the house. Good deal. We're global, Jeff. It's hard to believe, isn't it? The man cave is a far-reaching endeavor.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've always wanted to go to New Zealand. I think it would be a
Well,
really awesome place to visit.
yeah, it would be. I don't know. You wouldn't like the cuisine down there too much, I don't think. That's a lamb-centric society down there. I
Well,
would do
I'm sure they
well.
have
Jeff,
vegetables.
Jeff and I would both
Maybe.
love that. Tom's studying tonight. He says he's
We
not.
we put a big dent in the cuisine.
Yeah. Okay. Eric's having some bullet. I've tried bullet. Uh, bullet. Their regular bourbons is one. It's what I call the rye forward. It's a lot like the Four Roses stuff. It hasn't grown on me yet, but I'm going to be revisiting rye very shortly. So uh,
Quinn, I think you might be right.
yeah.
I have some friends from New Zealand that I met, interestingly enough, through studying um, Unity. They have one of their guys is from New Zealand, so I learned about Kia Ora. He used that all the time. Anyway,
Okay. Well, Tanya, we'll bring you back towards the end here. Thank you for doing what you do up there. Help keep us moving. So, all right. Jeff, you went to Atlanta Grill Company today, right?
Sure did.
On your way to the mountains.
Yep.
Well, tell me what you bought.
Man, I got off easy. I just bought Lane's brisket rub. I got the
Yeah,
AGC Georgia Butts. And
Georgia butts and ribs.
yeah, bottle of Run Amok.
Which
Uh,
one? Which Runamuck did you buy?
I like that the Royal Cinnamon infused.
Yeah. Have you
That's what
bought?
I've
Have
been.
you tried the one called Sugar Maker's Cut? That's just a plain
Yes,
maple.
yes, that's good too.
That's my favorite one. The vanilla one's also really
Yep.
good.
And then
Scott's into a
for the
bottle of that.
granddaughter, she's got to have the sparkle.
Oh, the kind with the glitter in it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool. Scott Love's with us tonight. He's having Weller. I'm jealous. I have not come across Weller yet. when I find Weller, I'm going to get it. I'm really liking the wheated bourbons that I've tried. And last night I came on to do a test live stream on this new side of the man cave, and I had some of my Larceny, which is wheated that I kind of like. So that worked out pretty good.
I'll put it back in the car, darn it. I was going to show you the injector I bought. Similar to
Did
what
Kathy-
this is.
Did Kathy not pick up a new piece of Le Creuset today?
No, she did not.
No.
No.
So you found a new injector. You told me you were going to look for one.
Yeah,
What,
it's
what
very
did you
similar to the Beast. It's got 6 tips to it.
a stainless steel
Yeah.
standard injector? It's
Yeah.
well, mine doesn't have 6 tips. Mine's got 3. The one I have has a small straight syringe, a larger gauge straight syringe, and then one that's got like 6 different spouts that come out the side of it.
I take that back. It's actually 4 tips. It's a 6-piece. It's 4 tips and 2 brushes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like the simplicity of the stainless steel, but I've learned one lesson. It is critical that when you're finished injecting, take that thing apart. Do not let it sit for any length of time because, like I said, I ruined one that I couldn't get back apart to clean, but I'm sure you won't have that problem. So we're going to back up a little bit here. Jeff's been doing a little cooking I wanted to show you. These look like some really nice tuna fillets, Jeff. Tell me about those?
That's some ahi tuna that I picked up over at Costco. And naturally, my go-to seasoning is the River Street. Put that on there and did them out on the soapstone on the Big Joe 3. And I mean, you can just watch that color change. And
Yeah. What did you use ghee there, or what kind of oil did you put down?
no, I just used regular cooking oil on it.
Okay. So did you just? I was looking at your cook here. How far through did you cook these on this picture? I can't tell. Did you leave them rare in the middle?
Oh, absolutely. The only reason I can't tell is I turned it up on edge just to get just a little bit on the edges. But
What kind of
yeah, it was
sauce have you
only
got there?
that is. Oh my God, which sauce did I put on? Oh, panda teriyaki.
Okay, well that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It was good.
And is that your cauliflower mashed potato?
Well, cauliflower mashed potatoes, cauliflower grits, whatever you want to call it for the.
It's
Veggie
cauliflower.
of the day.
Okay. Yeah. So it was good. Kathy liked
Oh
it.
man, that was off the hook.
Is this something just you and Kathy, or did you feed anybody else this?
No, that's me, Kathy, and my son.
Good. It looks good. And your granddaughter has found a new love in lamb. It
Oh my
seems.
God, my granddaughter will eat some lamb. Let me tell you what, that girl is a lambaholic.
Mm.
I said I had to
Norway's
make
in the
those
house.
for her before I could go to the AGC show.
Thomas, glad you could make it in. We got the globe covered tonight between Norway
Wow.
and New Zealand. It looks like awesome.
We
So
need
what
to
did
get
you
somebody
season
from
this with?
Japan.
What did you season this with?
I like seasoning those with bruschetta seasoning, the McCormick's
Mhm.
bruschetta.
Right.
Just put a little bit of olive oil on, lightly coat it. Do both sides.
Did you see the video I did where I used an African-inspired seasoning blend?
Yep.
I did it on lamb ribs. I don't think I used that on the chops, but that was amazing. These look delicious. And then they went on the
They went on to Pellet Joe.
yeah. So
Yeah,
how did you cook them? What was your cook technique here?
I just set Pellet Joe up to 450 and
Went hot.
let it go.
Okay.
Pulled it at 130.
Yep. Man, the color on those things looks amazing. And when they're done, you just chop them out.
Yep.
That looks like a perfect cook, man. I'd be all over that.
Oh man, let me tell you what, I was all over it. Granddaughter was all over it.
These things are crazy, man. When I do lamb chops like this, I tend to go a little rarer, but that's just my taste. I'll typically pull mine off about the time if I'm cooking hot like that, I'll pull them off at 117 or 118 and let them rest up to 125, 126.
Mhm.
And I go just a bit rarer than a lot of people do on lamb chops, but those look perfect, Jeff. They look
Even
amazing.
served them on paper plates, man. I dug out the good china.
You know, Eric, when Chef Eric had his restaurant down in Raleigh, they had these plates, and I wish I could find some like it. They were china plates, but they looked like the standard round paper plates with the little
Mhm.
scallops all the way around. They had, dinnerware like that, and I swear I wish I could find plates like that. And I haven't ever stumbled across those, but if I do, I promise you that I'm going to buy some. So what's getting ready to happen here?
That's cottage pie going on there.
So what all's in there?
That's a mixture of multicolored carrots and leeks.
Just carrots and leeks,
Yep.
and you're sweating those down in some oil,
Yep.
softening that up.
Yes, indeedy. And then
Then what's going in here?
next picture should be the I had leftover brisket and leftover pulled pork. Put
Pork
that in
and
there.
beef. Okay.
Yep.
And you bring that up to a simmer.
Yeah, and throw in. Now, John, this is where I told you this is a great sauce combination, and you need to try this. Take a quarter cup of the W sauce,
Right.
3/4 cup of the G. Hughes steak sauce.
Mhm.
Mix those two together. Put that in there. Let me
Yep.
tell you what, that was freaking off the hook.
That sounds good, but I'm still going to throw some Guinness in there.
Well, I would throw the Guinness in there for a shepherd's pie, but for
Yeah.
the cottage pie, you can or you can't.
So we got the same cauliflower mash, topping that off.
Yep. And now the
And
secret to this cauliflower mash, John, I don't know if you've tried that recipe that I told you about. The
I
keto
haven't
focus.
yet, but I'm going to.
The key to making this stuff right is you've got to cook your cauliflower in chicken broth. Don't cook it in water.
Right.
Cook it in chicken broth. And
Do
then
you salt it?
you salt it.
Salt and chicken
And
broth.
then when you put it in the blender, it's the cauliflower, cream cheese, and butter.
Mhm.
And throw that in your food processor or blender. And I'm telling you, you're hard pressed to really tell the difference between it and mashed potatoes.
Right. Then we get some cheese
Oh.
on top.
Kathy said no butter. I'm sorry, no butter.
No butter.
Yes,
Okay.
and then a English white cheddar.
Oh boy, that looks good. And you just put that on the grill to finish it off and let it get bubbly.
Yep. And then I put a little torch on a little bit to, caramelize a little bit of the cheese.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'd be face first into that. That looks good.
Man,
I'm gonna have to,
you got to try that with that sauce mix. I'm telling you, that is off the flipping hook.
right. That's crazy. I want to get into that. So Ryan says he's one of the biggest fans of tuna steak. Has anyone tried man cave tuna straight on the coals? I haven't. I wouldn't, but I don't see why you couldn't do it. If you like the man cave or the caveman method and like cooking directly on the coals, I don't see why you couldn't do it. Watch my Man Cave Meals page. I wrote a post tonight that's going to publish Sunday afternoon. A little interesting little thing about the caveman style. I found something I wanted to share with y'all. It'll come out on Sunday, but I need to catch up a little bit on some of the cooking I've done. Last week we had Doug Hanthorn, the Naked Whiz, here talking about charcoal. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you learned something about charcoal. I know I learned a couple of things, and Doug's he's kind of a go-to guy about charcoal. Replacements LTD for those plates. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a note of that because I'd like to get a set of those. I really would. Scott says Fortessa used to make a plate like that. So yeah, I want to find some of those because I think that is the perfect plate for serving and photographing what I do, because backyard cooking, paper plates go hand in hand. And those plates, I don't like serving on paper plates because they're not sturdy enough. But those China plates that look like the paper plates, I gotta get some of those somewhere. I gotta figure that out. So since we had Doug on last week, I didn't talk about any of the cooking that I had done that week, and I wanted to show you guys. This was a video from last week, or maybe even the week before. This is an F1 Wagyu tri-tip that I bought locally, and I decided to follow my mushroom and Swiss burger with a beef and cheddar sandwich. And I couldn't figure out a better way to make a beef and cheddar sandwich than use F1 Wagyu tri-tip. So I got this guy. I see, you look at the marbling on that. And by the way, what F1 Wagyu is, F1 Wagyu is American Wagyu, and it is a 50-50 breed of full-blooded Wagyu and Black Angus. So that's the genetic of the F1 Wagyu. If you ever see F2 Wagyu, F2 Wagyu is a 50-50 breed of F1 Wagyu and 100% Wagyu. So that's just a little bit of information I learned because of this new shop. But I got this guy out and I seasoned it liberally like I do. I used the Himalayan Sherpa on this. I vacuum sealed this guy and let it ride in the refrigerator overnight before I was ready to cook it the next day. I was going to put some fire roasted red pepper on this sandwich. So I took a red bell pepper and put it over my propane burner outside and just kept turning it until I got a really nice char on all the outside of that thing. And what I did shortly after it looks like you see here is I just tossed it in a paper bag and set it aside until I was ready to peel it. And I got my grill nice and hot, and I just kept this thing moving over direct coals. I kept flipping it until I was real happy with the color I was getting on the outside. I flipped it multiple times. And then when I was happy with the color I got, I moved it over to indirect heat. And I took this guy off the indirect heat and wrapped it in foil when I hit about 115 in the internal part of this meat. And then I just took my fingers and peeled all of that char off of the outside of my red peppers. But in the picture here, you can see I left a little bit. I wanted some of that char to stay behind. I didn't want to peel it completely clean. So I left little bits of that char because I wanted the flavor. Eric, that tri-tip was expensive. It was $25 a pound. And that particular tri-tip was just a hair over 2 pounds. So it's not A5 priced, obviously, but it's expensive for our area. So I sliced up these red peppers, and this is what that Wagyu looked like after I let it rest. And if you look closely at this picture, you can still see the marbling that's inside this thing. This thing was amazing, flavor and texture wise. So I sliced up some slices of that. And what I did here, I didn't take an interim picture. So if you want to see the whole process here, go look at the video on this on Atlanta Grill Company's YouTube channel. I took some buns. I laid the slices of tri-tip on the buns. I put some of the sliced red pepper on it, and I put some cheddar cheese on top of that. And I just set it in an iron pan and put it back on the grill, closed the lid long enough to melt that cheese out, and then brought it back out and put the bun on it. And I shook a little bit of Argentina steak on that as well. I think Argentina steak's what I did. In fact, I'm sure that's what you see here, the spices and stuff that are on that cheese. I did shake a little bit of the Argentina steak to finish that sandwich off, but these were crazy. This was amazing. And the rest of that tri-tip that I didn't make sandwiches with, I vacuum sealed it, and I'm saving it for me for later. I'm not sharing that one. That one's not getting shared out, but that was really good. it was it's probably the best piece of tri-tip I've ever had. It was the most expensive piece per pound. I don't know, the tri-tips from Porter Road are not a lot less expensive than that. I don't remember what the last tri-tip I bought at Porter Road cost, but I'm thinking it was around $40 for it. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at my purchase history with Porter Road to see what I paid for Porter Road tri-tips. But I can't buy tri-tips locally. But now this place, supposedly, I'm going to be able to get tri-tip there. So I'll buy that. Whenever I want tri-tip, I don't mind paying that price for it. I don't buy it that often. The next thing I'm going to buy from those guys is a brisket. I'm going to get an F1 Wagyu brisket, which is $10 a pound. And the ones they had in the case up there the day I was there, they were 17, 18-pound briskets. So whenever I get ready to cook another brisket, that's going to be the one I cook. So we'll enjoy that. So the next thing that happened in my schedule is I met up with Jeff at Atlanta Grill Company the Thursday morning before the event, and Jeff and I went down to Unadilla to meet with the Myron Mixon people, and I got to go to the 57 Diner for lunch. This actually was really a highlight of that trip down there.
Did you get enough to eat, John?
I couldn't eat all of what I had in front of me, guys. I'll tell you about what I had in a minute. But this place I want to go back to. It was crazy. And here it says, pool room style chili dogs and whatnot. We didn't have chili dogs. We had fried pork chops. Jeff, you had pork chops. I think all of us did. Wasn't that the lunch special? We went with
Yes.
Jeff and I went with David Mixon for lunch here, and we had fried pork chops. I had, I think, mashed potatoes and green beans, a dinner roll.
Same as me.
Yeah. I couldn't eat all. They brought two big
and a brownie for dessert.
Yeah, and the brownie for dessert. But they brought two pork chops where one of those pork chops would have been gracious plenty, but no, there's two of them on the plate. And it was really good. This Unadilla is a town that's smaller than the town I live in, and they got a place like this. This is a place I would come from out of town to eat. It's really good food. Jeff and I went down there Thursday, and we met with David Mixon. We looked at some of the product that they have down there, and we went over to the compound where Myron lives and where they teach their barbecue classes. This is some of their burn furnaces that they use to make cinders with that they're going to cook in their big whole hog pits. This is where they cook down the firewood, and they shovel hot coals out of this and shovel the coals from this into their pits for cooking.
John, those are the fire pits that Myron's daddy used.
Right. And I asked David about that. He says they're the same pits. They've been refurbished and fixed and whatnot several times throughout the process, but these things are still in use. That's what they use to make the coals. And one of the things I learned that I didn't know is when you're cooking with coals this way, you got to use green wood. You don't use dried wood for this, because the wood, when it dries out so much, it just turns to ash. It doesn't make those hot glowing embers that you need to throw into your smoke pits. So then I got to go to Buc-ee's on the way back. I've never been to a Buc-ee's before. Jeff took me to this Buc-ee's in Warner Robins, Georgia, which was a real treat. I don't know. I'm probably the only one here that's never been to a Buc-ee's before, and I feel weird about that. But I bought Tanya and I a couple of these Buc-ee's tumblers. So I've got yet another tumbler that I don't need. I've got a stack of these things, but I made my picture with Buc-ee.
There you go. You have been duly Buc-eefied.
This was my favorite picture from the whole trip. So we went back to Atlanta Grill Company after that and visited with those guys for a few minutes. It was late in the day at this point, Jeff. It was near 4:30 or so when we got back to Roswell.
Yeah.
So
yeah, about that.
Yeah, we called it a day at that point, went back to the hotel. But we went back Friday morning to Atlanta Grill Company, and we knew they had a lot of work to do and a lot of prep to do before the event on Saturday. So Jeff and I and Jeff's grandson, Alex, went over there, and we got with Jason and said, we're here to help. What can we do? And Jason says, well, he says, we still got to put a bunch of grills together. And I said, what do you got? He says, well, we need 12 Big Joes. So Jason jumps on a forklift and starts rolling Big Joes out into the front of the building. And we started uncrating these things and putting them together. Here's Jeff and Alex putting these things together. And before long, we had 2 or 3 other people out there. I think the 3 of us got 3 or 4 of these things together by ourselves, and then some more people rolled up and helping us. I think we had 5. Did we have 5 or 6 in the end, Jeff?
We had 5 in the end. We had 5 of them done before the others chimed in.
Yeah, but anyway, when we got the extra help, we really got rolling, and we put together 12 Big Joes in an hour and a half. Unboxed them, got them out, got them in the carts, and got the trash, all the refuse, all in one pile in 90 minutes. And about that time, Chef Eric rolled up. Yep. Chef rolled up in his big white van with coolers full of meat. Man, I don't know if I've seen so much meat in one place in my entire life. So
he said he had 1,000 pounds of meat.
We started prepping meat around lunchtime on Friday. These are the beef ribs. These are the E3 beef ribs, and these are those big 3-bone racks, and these things were gorgeous. They were absolutely amazing. We scored the fat cap on those, peeled off the membrane from the backside, and we started cooking these on Friday because these needed a head start so we could get them cooked in time to serve them on Saturday. Here they're having a peeling party. They're peeling membranes off of the back of those ribs, getting those ready to cook. And this pan up front here, these are rib tips. I don't know. These rib tips actually came from Heritage Farms, Cheshire Pork here in North Carolina. Eric had I'm guessing 30 or 40 pounds of these things, Jeff.
At least. I was rubbing those until the cows came home.
These are the ones that I was trying to get broken apart because they were still frozen, and I had to get them. I took them in a prep sink inside and dumped them out and ran water in there and just worked with them until I could pull them apart enough because they were still frozen. And we got them out. I think we had 7 or 8 hotel pans full of these things, something like that, Jeff.
Yep.
And those needed a cooking head start also, so we got those going on Friday. Here's some of those. What we did was we were trying to figure out if we could cheat the system and do a fast cook on these, but it wasn't happening. It wasn't going to work. So what we did is we seared them off and then wrapped them back up, and we finished those on the slow cook on Saturday. The Gosney Dome. This trip down was the first time I've got to see one of these up close. I've never stood in front of one of these until this event, and this is an interesting gas. This is a dual fuel pizza oven, and one of the things that you still can't see from this picture, I had never been able to get a bead on how big or small this thing actually is, and you still can't tell from here, but my overall impression of this size-wise was that it's not as big as it looks. Thoughts, Jeff?
I'd agree with that.
The one thing I do like about it is this deck height is a lot higher than anything else I'm used to working on. I think this one is at a better working height than a lot of these things, but
yeah, it's almost at eye level for you. You can really look in and you don't have to bend down.
These are in stock now at Atlanta Grill Company. He's got both colors of it. He's got this tan color and the green color and the stand. And if I remember correctly, the oven and stand combo is I think it's $2,100, Jeff. It's like $1,799 for the oven and $2.99 or $3.99 for the stand. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly. It's somewhere in that market, but these are now available, and I believe they do have an adequate supply of these things. They're selling as fast as they can get them in. Is all I know about it. They're having trouble keeping those things in there. So
Stephen Goetsch asked a question about is there going to be a nice sale on the 12 slightly used Big Joes? Those were sold before they were put together.
they pretty much were, and actually there were 3 Big Joes that
Unused.
did not get used in the demo, and they weren't going to sell those at a discount. There were 3 of them that we did not fire up on Saturday, so those were going to be regular price. But I think every one of those 9 that we did cook on were
Gary
sold.
said they were all sold.
What I think he sold them for $1,100 a piece. Does that sound right?
No idea.
I think it was. I think the Big Joe 2s, the demos, went for $1,100. And Beth said she loved the Alpha. Yeah, the Alpha. I'm a fan of the Alpha too. I haven't cooked on a Gosney Dome, so I don't know. I don't really know about anything about it in terms of cooking. And Beth, I think you had asked me earlier today or yesterday about the Rock Box. I do have the Rock Box. That's Gosney's small portable gas-fired pizza oven. There is a wood-fired option for that oven as well, and I have that, and I just honestly I don't like it. It takes a lot more work and a lot more effort to get that thing hot with the wood, and you have to make the wood splits yourself that are small enough to fit into that thing. I don't know if anybody sells those. So anyway, back to these pictures. Huzaifa's got the question: were ribs cooked stacked like this or just warming? These were finished this way. There's more on here than ribs. There's some pork loin on here as well. Some of the ribs that were par cooked, we finished cooking them stacked like this in grills like this. This is perfectly acceptable and it works. I may have some more pictures similar to that. So yeah, and
Yeah, hopefully you got a picture of the pork tenderloin or pork tips. Those were really stacked high.
Yeah. I got to meet Janice Berger. Janice came in from out near Corpus Christi, Texas, and Beth, who's with us tonight, she and her husband came down from Ohio. I got to meet both of them at this event. I was glad you guys could come in. That was great to get. I got to meet a lot of new people this trip.
Absolutely.
And Stephen Hickey, Stephen showed up. Stephen did say that he thought he might come on live with me sometime, so maybe we will. But this is Saturday night. This is after the event. I don't know this picture may be, or was this? No, this was Thursday night or Friday. This was Friday night.
Friday night.
This was Friday night. I'm sorry, this was not Saturday night. So we were going to have a little bourbon tasting on Saturday night, which we did, but we decided that we were going to have a glass or two of bourbon on Friday night as well, since we were all in the same hotel. And Steven's telling us about some of the bourbon he brought there. So Saturday, we get together, get started again. We went over there early. What time were we there at 7, Jeff?
Yeah, 7:00.
7 in the morning on Saturday. The event starts at 9, but we've got to get things fired up and get going. These are Cheshire pork, bone-in racks of pork. This is the pork rib / pork loin, all still on the bone. This is the bone-in ribeye from the pig. That's exactly what you're looking at here. These are Frenched out. They look really nice. These guys were seasoned up beautifully. Here's Chef Eric working on those, and I can't remember what's in this Le Creuset in the middle of that, Jeff. I don't remember what he had in there.
In the middle of that was the ham.
Okay, yes, it's a pork, a picnic, right? There's a picnic in there. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 4 of those going on.
Right.
In the center of 4 different Joes.
Now this, guys, this is pork shank from Cheshire Farms, Cheshire Pork. And this, I got several pictures of this. This was one of the more amazing things. This was one of my favorite things that came off of the cooking from Saturday. Eric made what he called a Bloody Mary pork shanks. And these pork shanks, he had par cooked. He par cooked these things before he brought them down. And the only thing that we had to do with these was braise these. And the braise that we're working in here is vodka and Bloody Mary mix. That's all that's in there, right, Jeff?
Yeah, boy, that was good. Oh,
And
man.
you could smell that a mile away. And these things were so tender when we started to serve this that you could just touch these things and they would fall apart.
Fall apart.
Cindy, these are pork. These aren't beef shanks. So this is Chef. Why is his name escaping? He's from Hillsboro. He lives here in North Carolina near Eric. His name is Jesus. Why is it his name's slipping me here at the moment? Matt Fox. This is Chef Matt Fox from Hillsboro, North Carolina. He came with Eric to help with this event, and Matt cooked salmon all day on Saturday. Here's Chef looking at those pork shanks that we were just the Bloody Mary pork shanks. The Arctic salmon guy, the Cavoy Arctic salmon guy, was here with Eric, and Matt was cooking salmon fillets on the soapstone on one big joke all day. And I don't know how many pounds they went through, but they kept salmon rolling for the entire event. I don't think the salmon ever stopped flowing during the whole 6 hours that we were cooking.
Man, that was good stuff.
It was crazy. And Eric here's talking in this picture. He's describing what he's got going on the grill with these pork loins, or the bone-in pork loins from Heritage Farms. This is Michael Stone from Alpha. He was here with the Alpha people. They had 2 ovens running. Mike here is working with the 4 Pizza. And then this guy, I finally got to meet Freddie. You've seen Freddie show up in here. I don't know if Freddie's with us tonight or not. This is Freddie Woodoven Boston.
Haven't seen him.
He should be with us tonight because don't tell anybody, but Golden State won last night, so there is no more basketball. Basketball season's over. Freddie's a Celtic fan, I'm sure. And but talked to Freddie and Mike, and they said they'd like to come on with us one Friday night. I'm not sure when we're going to do that yet, but hopefully it'll be soon. I would love to have a deep dive conversation with those guys about Alpha Ovens and about pizza. And both of those guys know more about both of those guys have forgotten more about pizza than I'll ever know about pizza. That's all there is to it. But meeting Freddie was a hoot. I really, really enjoyed meeting Freddie. And I was going to toss a pizza with him. And let me tell you guys, I was working on one and I made a boneheaded mistake. I was busy. I didn't get away from the grills a whole lot while I was there, but I took a moment to go make a pizza with Freddie, and he gave me a ball of dough, and I started working this dough, and I did not put any semolina flour out on my workspace before I tossed that dough down and started working it. And I overstretched my dough. I got it a little too thin, and then I couldn't get the pizza peel underneath it. I looked like a total friggin' idiot trying to make pizza with Freddie. I made a mess out of it. And Freddie we just folded that one over and chucked it. And I was going to come back and try to get another one, but I was just not able to get away from the other side long enough to get it done. But hopefully I'll get to cook with Freddie again one day. This is Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee is a rep of several products that they sell at Atlanta Grill Company, but Kevin was working with the Alpha guys, cooking and prepping pizzas. Beth, I got to meet your husband. I got to toss pizza with him because shaping the dough is still my weakest point. But they were making pizzas
Agreed.
all day long that looked like this. This one has got I can see prosciutto. It's got a white cheese base on it, probably, or a white sauce base of some sort. And I can see prosciutto. I can see shaved parm, and I'm guessing that's arugula. Jeff, is that arugula on that pizza?
That's what it looks like.
Okay, but yeah, those are really good. And the prosciutto, when you pull one of these pizzas out of the oven, you don't put the prosciutto on it until you take it out, because the residual heat is all you need for the prosciutto, because the prosciutto is typically so thin. That's all you need for it. And they
Put
they
it in
were,
the oven, it'll come out like cardboard.
yeah, you can't really cook prosciutto. So Matt Jones came down. I don't get to see Matt. I haven't seen Matt since the last Atlanta Grill Company event. So Matt came out and hung out with us. Matt came and had dinner with us Friday night at Hugo's Oyster Bar. I told Matt we were going. So Andrew, glad you could make it in with us tonight. Hate that you have to go, but Matt came out, and he came out and helped us all day Saturday as well. So good to see Matt again. Here's some more pictures of this is, I don't have a great picture of this guy on the edge here, and I feel bad about that. This is, he's called Rancher Jake. I don't remember what Jake's last name is, but Jake is with E3. He's the head rancher of E3 Beef out in Kansas, and Eric brought him in, and he's the one that produced the beef and the ribs. Yes, it was, Beth. It was crazy. All the beef that he brought in there was top notch, and he's this that he's serving right here is that Coulette or the bavette. It was the bavette that he's working on here, right? And over here you see Chef Eric, and in front of him is a butter bath, and they finished some of those strip steak, the whole New York strips in this butter bath. Man, the flavors that were going on down there, guys, it was just awesome. I'm overlooking a lot of stuff, I'm sure, that went on, but Chef kept the grills rocking all day, and Jeff and I and Alex and quite a few other people were helping keep 9 Big Joes full of meat and meat coming off of these things all day. Tom, that black and grouper at Hugo's was good. I had black and grouper for dinner Friday night at Hugo's. It was delicious. And Chef's getting a little flambe on here with I don't remember what kind of bourbon he's got, but he definitely had the fire going.
Was that the bourbon or the Tito's he was using on that?
It was the bourbon.
Okay.
This is on this grill. We've got some more of these Bloody Mary pork shanks, and these are those bavettes that had been seared on the grill just to the right of this. And this grill was running a lower temperature, so after we got the sear, we were finishing those on a low temp side over here. And here's another close up of those pork shanks. The pork shanks, like I said, guys, out of everything that was done there, with maybe the exception of the salmon, that pork shank, well, I don't know. I'm going to sell myself short because the beef ribs were off the hook also.
That's what I was just fixing to say. Those beef ribs were off the hook too. I mean,
so yeah, maybe the beef ribs.
Let's be honest. There wasn't a bad dish out there. I mean, it was all
everything was good. And I did manage to get to taste some of everything that was made on that Saturday. Myron came out. Myron was there demoing the Bark pellet smokers, and they were cooking sausage. They were cooking Monroe sausage over there on a couple of Barks all day, and that stuff was good. And I took them some of the beef ribs that we had cooked, and they really liked those as well. I thought to take them some of that because those went quickly. As soon as we started breaking those beef ribs down, Jeff, what did we have? Did we have 120 pounds maybe of beef ribs?
At least, yes.
It didn't take but about 30 minutes for that to be gone when we started cutting them down and serving.
It was like vultures on meat, buddy.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
amazing.
that stuff you couldn't cut it and lay it down on a plate fast enough.
Yeah. This guy right here on the right edge. This is Ryan Lane from Lane's Barbecue. If you're familiar with any of the Lane's barbecue rubs, you know that they're the best of the best. The Atlanta Grill Company rub collection is produced by Lane's. Cindy, if I had to guess, Jeff, my estimate on how many people flowed through there between 9 and 3, I'm gonna say I would say it's north of 4,000 people.
I would say that is very reasonable figure.
I would not be surprised if it was more than that, but the place was wall to wall. There were some people that showed up before 9, and there were quite a few people there before 4:30 after the event was over. Inside, every time I went inside to get water or use the bathroom, their cash register area in the front middle of the store, they had lines that went to the back of the store and wrapped around the outside edge.
Yep.
2 lines like that for the entire event.
And then they opened up a third cashier.
Right. And it was crazy. But this is Ryan Lane. Ryan brought brisket. Ryan cooked some beef brisket and brought it. And he was making beef brisket tacos that had his pimento cheese. Yeah, Ryan, you're exactly right. Ryan Lane makes.
That's what I was going to say.
My brisket's not on par with Ryan's at all. I need to talk.
That brisket made mine look like child's play because that brisket was off the hook.
His brisket's good. I can't deny that. But his pimento cheese is really good also. I haven't made his pimento cheese recipe, but yeah, Daniel, it was good to meet you there too. I haven't made Ryan's pimento cheese recipe, but I do use Ryan's SPF 53 in my pimento cheese now after I learned that he was putting that in his. That's a perfect seasoning to amp up your pimento cheese. And I love pimento cheese. My wife loves it. So that's what we use in ours. Chef here is working on tearing down some of these beef ribs. This is just some of the beef ribs that we broke down, some of these 3-bone racks. And here, as he was tearing them down, he was making a Jenga stack of beef rib bones. And that stack was 2 or 3 times that high by the time we were done. And that's the end of my pictures from the Atlanta Grill Company event. And I feel bad that I don't have more pictures than that, but Jeff will tell you, Jeff was in the same situation I was in. We were busy.
Yeah.
I didn't stop to go shoot photographs when I would like to. So Ryan's tried my pimento cheese. So I make good pimento cheese. My wife, my pimento cheese is in Tanya's top 3 list of the things that I make that she loves. And we'll ask her about that when we bring her back in here. But Saturday night, we went back to the hotel and we tasted some more whiskey. And Anurag brought this guy that I've never had before. Maris Otter is a name that I understand because as a former home brewer, I used to buy Maris Otter malted barley. That was one of the base malts I used when I was making beer. And when I saw this bottle of whiskey, it intrigued me because this is a whiskey that's made in Atlanta, and it's a single malt that's made with Maris Otter malted barley. So for those of you that drink whiskey and bourbon, you know that Scotch and Irish whiskeys are made with malted barley, and the malted barley is smoked usually with peats from the areas or the landscapes where the distilleries are. And so when I taste this, when I got to thinking about this, I said, okay, I'm going to be tasting something that tastes like a Scotch or an Irish whiskey. Well, let me tell you, this doesn't taste anything like a Scotch or an Irish whiskey. This, it had a beautiful sweetness to it. It tasted sweeter. I think it had a higher level of sweetness than any other whiskey or bourbon I've tasted. and it was unique. It was unlike anything else. And unfortunately, this is something that's either not made anymore or it's impossible to get. So I'll probably never get to taste that again, but I really appreciate Anurag bringing that out. So
We call that a dessert whiskey.
yeah, that was the at the tasting. I took a bottle of E.H. Taylor. I took a bottle of Eagle Rare, and I took a bottle of the Jack Daniel's triple mash, the new bonded triple mash. Stephen Hickey brought that Davidson's Reserve. It's behind me up here on the bar. He let me take that one home with me. That was pretty good. I took Stephen a small sample of the Fitzgerald, the 17-year-old Fitzgerald to try. I think he kind of liked that. Jeff, I need to get you a sample of that one to try too. I didn't even think to bring an extra one. Randy, glad you could make it, but I don't remember. We tasted around, but we had a good crew there.
Yeah, we had seven or eight different bottles to taste.
Yeah, Scott was stuck inside. Scott represents Shoon, so Scott was in there. I guess, Scott, were you showing Shoon all day, or were you showing some of the other stuff as well? I noticed they had somebody there from Le Creuset. They had somebody there from Yeti. They had I don't remember who all the reps were that were inside, because I didn't. My time inside was going to the bathroom and going to the water cooler. I was getting, yeah.
Or washing a pot.
Yeah, guys, it was hot. It was in the upper 80s. Did it hit 90 out there while we were there? It was muggy. And
it was hot. Because, I mean, this was the first time we weren't under a tent.
Yeah, we were not under the tent for the grilling. We were outside in the sun. So, I put away probably a gallon and a half of water.
At least.
Yeah. So I was making regular runs to the restroom because that water was cycling through pretty quick. So that was the end of the Atlanta Grill Company event.
Yes. Scott had that blue handle Shoon. Well, that was pretty.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So some of the other cooking I did this past week, I'm trying to get all this crammed in here. I had my first of the 45-day dry aged ribeyes since we talked. So I had a nice thick cut of one of those here, and I seasoned it with the Himalayan Sherpa. I don't season the dry aged beef that far in advance on these. Simply because the moisture content's low enough that it really doesn't work so well. So I decided I was going to cook this one on the PK 300 Aaron Franklin edition. So I got a hot bed of coals going and gave this steak an adequate sear. I turned it a few times and got a nice color on the outside, and then I finished it off over indirect heat. And the color on this guy's crazy. You can see that from here. And I got a pretty nice medium rare cook on this guy, and I think I found my sweet spot on dry aging. This 45 day, I think I really, really like the 45 day. The 60-day one that I did was not my jam. So the 45, and Jeff, that just reminds me, I forgot to bring you those Umami dry bags.
Umami bag. Yeah.
I will put those I'll put them in the mail. I'll get them in the mail first of the week.
Don't worry about it. Just save them the next time we're together.
Well, I'll put them in the mail. I also forgot several things, and I was just absent-minded when I was packing up, getting ready to go. I forgot some other stuff I meant to take.
You and I need to get together sometime and shoot some video.
Yeah, we can do that. Country style ribs, the video I put out last week. I've never done these before. I've got a cousin, Dewey. I don't know if Dewey's with us tonight. If he is, I haven't seen him comment, but country style ribs aren't ribs at all. They're strips of pork butt. And that's what you see here. I've got about 5 pounds, and season these guys up liberally with the Atlanta Grill Company Volcano Dust, because that's this month's rub of the month. And I did put these back in a vacuum seal bag and let them ride in the refrigerator overnight. But this is what they look like after the overnight ride. But what I wanted to do was put these in the low smoke for a while and get them some color. So I put them on the bark at 200 degrees for about 90 minutes or so, and got some good color on them. In the meantime, I made a sauce. And if you watch the video on this, I put the recipe that Cousin Dewey sent me, a picture of it, in the intro to the video, where you can see the recipe for this sauce. This is a really nice little brown sugar sauce that's really nice and sweet. So while those ribs were smoking, I made this sauce up, and here we go. They've got a lot of nice color now. So I tossed these in my 9x13 Lodge baking pan, and then we dumped all that sauce in. I turned them to get a good coat on them. I ran the bark up to 350, and I put these back in there, and we let them go for a couple hours until these guys got super tender. And about every 20 or 30 minutes, I would turn these and baste them. So that sauce is bubbling away and it's caramelizing and getting thicker as we go. Here I've got a little video clip where you can see a little bit of that action. And you can see that sauce bubbling away in there. And I wish you could smell that. It's really an incredible aroma coming from this. Randy's asking about what's the difference between country ribs and St. Louis steaks. There's not a lot of difference, Randy, because those St. Louis steaks are just steaks that are cut out of a Boston butt. I did a video on those on Kamado Joe. I think I need to do one for Atlanta Grill Company as well, because I like those. Those are really good. It's a pork steak, is what I call it, but they're also made from pork butt. So this is what those guys look like coming off the grill. I pulled them off. I let them rest for 10 or 15 minutes in the pan with the sauce, and then I just, in the video, I did a taste test, and it's crazy. Those things are melt. You can cook these to whatever level of tenderness you like, because you're finishing them braised. You can just feel it, and when they're tender enough to suit you is when you can pull them off. And they were awesome. This week, I decided to do drunken peach cobbler. So I got some peaches, and of course I soaked those guys in Jack Daniels overnight. And the next day I fired up the Alpha, got the Alpha. Oops, let's go back and watch that, because that's just mesmerizing. I love watching the fire in the Alpha.
Yep.
That's just crazy. But a peach cobbler is something that doesn't cook incredibly hot. I was wanting to cook between 350 and 400. But I always like to get this oven good and hot, and then let my cooking happen on the downswing, which is what I did here. So I've got self-rising flour, brown sugar, milk. That is the basis of any cobbler. And this is easy to remember. You use equal parts. It's a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio of, well, sugar. I don't always use brown sugar. I normally use white sugar, but today for this one I use brown sugar. So it's 1 part self-rising flour, 1 part sugar, 1 part milk is your basic cobbler. I've also got a pinch of salt. I've got some vanilla. And in this other one, here's a little ground cinnamon. I like to amp mine up a little bit by adding things like that. I talked about it in the video. This video is not published until tomorrow, so you guys are getting a sneak peek on this one. But I decided at the last minute I was going to put some blueberries in it. The blueberries didn't get soaked in the bourbon, but everything, the peaches did, or the Jack Daniels. So I got all that together in my 8-inch cast iron skillet. So the recipe for an 8-inch cast iron skillet or an 8x8 baking dish uses 1 cup each of the 3 ingredients: the self-rising flour, the sugar, and the milk. If you're going to go to a 10-inch, you use 1.5 cups of each of those. And if you're going to use a 12-inch, it goes to 2 cups. I'll give that recipe in the video. So, yep, Tom, this is not carb friendly. That you can't have this if you're on keto. So, so
It looks very dietetic to me, John.
well, one of the things I didn't show here is I melted some butter in this pan before I put all those ingredients in the pan. There's a half a stick of butter that got melted in that pan. Then you dump the cobbler mixture in there, and then you just toss your fruit in on top of it. And then from there, we go to the oven. So, due to the nature and size of this oven, you need to keep an eye on this. And if your oven's too hot, you're going to brown too quickly on the top. And if that starts to happen, you just want to lay a piece of foil across the top of it, which I didn't have to do on this one, but I got close. But you're going to need to spin that pan to get it to cook evenly in a small oven like this one. So when it's finally done, this is what we have. It's looking really good. So this is what I use for my video thumbnail for this particular cook. But this is what it looks like finished. It's really, really delicious. And here's the reason I've got all these short little video clips is I made a TikTok video out of this. So that is the end of my videos and pictures for the week. So I got a lot. I had a lot to cover there, so I appreciate you guys hanging in with me on that. I got a lot of cooking done. I didn't. I was going to cook wings today. I didn't get it done because Tanya and I did a bunch of shopping today. But my next week's video, I'm going to do chicken wings because our sauce of the month for Atlanta Grill Company this month is the Home Team wing sauce. So I'm going to do some wings. I'm going to do them on the bark, and I'm going to use volcano dust and the Home Team wing sauce for some chicken wings. So that'll be really good. Jeff, let's get Tanya back in here. Tanya, wake up. Wake up, Tanya. Tanya, you like my pimento cheese, right?
I do like your pimento cheese.
Is it one of the top 3 things I make that you like the most?
It is.
It is. That and the chili, well, it goes hand in hand with my chili cheese dogs because we make chili cheese dogs with this pimento cheese on them using the slot dog. So
it's usually
for the win.
Seriously, and it's usually. I know a lot of people laugh at that, but the chili cheese dogs with his, I call it his transcendental.
Oh yeah,
pimento cheese.
The chili's homemade also, and that's another thing that's really
high on the list of
things. Yeah,
that's what I call
homemade hot dog chili. So yeah,
divine chili and transcendental pimento cheese.
Yeah, so we're all good.
It's fabulous on a hot dog. And if you want to make that again anytime soon, I'd be all right with that.
Well, I need to.
I think she's dropped a hint there, John.
Well, she has.
You might want to listen.
She's been very patient, giving me time to do some deep cleaning down here in the man cave and do some reorganization. And by this time next week, I'll have my new prep table in the kitchen, and I'll be ready to turn this back into a production kitchen again.
So, John, do you want to tell me about these Krispy Kremes that I missed?
I don't think you missed much of anything because they had some Krispy Kreme donuts down at Atlanta Grill Company. Was it on Friday or it was on?
No. She missed. Lane was doing Krispy Kreme donuts with the brisket and the pimento cheese. And then putting them back on the grill. And that was interesting at best. It was good.
He sliced these Krispy Kreme donuts open, put brisket and pimento cheese on them, put the top back on it, and put those on the grill. I didn't get to taste. I don't think I got to taste that. I remember.
Oh, you missed out, John.
Yeah, I didn't get to taste that one. So
I don't know how I would feel about that. I mean, I will be the first to admit that I love a hot Krispy Kreme. There's nothing better than a hot Krispy Kreme. You know, the hot lights on, it's almost, like air. They're fabulous.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how I'd feel about
Tanya, you would have liked it.
No.
She wouldn't.
You would have liked it.
No, that
The brisket would have not worked with Tanya. Tanya's beef and meat likes are based on texture, and brisket doesn't fall into the texture category of things that Tanya likes. So, yeah, Ryan,
It was chopped.
Ryan, you have no excuse, brother. You should have been there. Ryan, I'm not letting you off the hook.
he said he was going to be there in December.
He said he'd be there in December. Okay.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said that earlier.
Tanya, I'll take you down there with me in December, and we'll hook you up with Scott and put you to work. I don't know if we'll see. You know, they had somebody from Jura there, in fact, as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't have a Jura rep, or even if they do have a Jura rep, you can make coffee with the Jura rep all day.
I'm sure they'd be more than happy to let you make coffee while they.
Oh
explain
yeah, yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
goodness.
So either that, or you can smoke whiskey all day, because they were doing that too.
I don't know how I feel about smoking whiskey.
Yeah. Well,
It's hard to keep it lit.
this is an interesting comment Cindy's got right here. Cindy, I used to think that too, until I tried some certain things.
Chicken and waffle.
Yes, and that's a perfect example, Tanya. Chicken and waffles. The best chicken and waffles I've ever had came from this place. And God, by the way, guys, we're done. So if you can't stick around, we're just going to shoot the crap now and talk about non-related stuff. But the first time Tanya and I went to Memphis, we went to this place on Beale Street called Miss Polly's Soul City Cafe. Yep. It's a little hole in the wall place, and we sat down in there, and they had chicken and waffles on the menu. I said, I can't not get chicken and waffles here, so I ordered it, and it was amazing, and I liked it so well. I yelled at the cook and asked him. I said, "What can you tell me about how you make these chicken and waffles?" And all he would tell me is that the chicken is marinated overnight in buttermilk and hot sauce before it gets breaded and deep fried. That's all he'd tell me about it. But okay,
that's the secret, buddy.
Cindy, you've got fried chicken here that's been marinated in hot sauce and buttermilk all night, and then breaded in a seasoned flour breading. It gets deep fried, so you've got savory going on right there. It's served over a Belgian waffle, which is sweet, and it's drizzled with a maple syrup that's got cayenne pepper in it. And oh man, you want to talk about a clash of sweet and savory that will bowl you over. You gotta try.
But it's a beautiful balance, John.
Yes, it's crazy. It's amazing. And chicken and waffles is like shrimp and grits for me. If I go to a restaurant that I've never been to before, if I find shrimp and grits on the menu, that's probably what I'm going to get, because you don't find that many places. That's a low country thing, a southeastern United States thing. You don't find that around a lot. And chicken and waffles, I think, is definitely something that I would throw into what I would call the soul food category. Would you agree with that, Jeff? And
absolutely.
You find it in even less places, but it's something I love. And
actually, John, it's becoming more and more popular in restaurants around the Georgia area.
Well, when Tanya and I did our zoo tour in Tennessee in October a year ago during the pandemic, Memphis Zoo was on our radar, and we went to the Memphis Zoo. And while we were there, I said, we're going to go to Miss Polly's while we're there. And it was closed for the pandemic. They weren't serving even to go. And
he was heartbroken, y'all. Heartbroken. I thought I was gonna have to. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to get him back to the hotel. He was.
Was he mule lip, Tanya?
He was crying.
I was devastated.
He was devastated. He's like, "This is
Beale Street." There was not a lot going on Beale Street. A lot of the places were closed. We found one restaurant that had outdoor seating that we were able to eat at on Beale Street. I can't even remember the name of it, and I can't even remember what I had because it was unremarkable.
Indeed.
It-
Agreed.
I don't remember the name of the place, but it's the only restaurant on Beale Street that I saw that was outdoor seating. It was an Irish pub, was it not, Tanya? It
I
was an
think it
Irish
was.
pub.
But
was.
that wasn't that fabulous.
No, it wasn't that great, and but I'll get back out there. I don't have to look for excuses to go to Memphis, and we'll get out there, and I will visit Miss Polly's again, and I will have those chicken and waffles again. Oh, they had homemade fried pies there that were off the hook also. Tanya was good.
Yeah.
It was not down that far. No, Cindy, this was up on the end of Beale Street, close to BB King's, up near the intersection. It's not far down there at all. It's really up high on Beale Street. It's not down near the river. So, not the bridge. I'm trying to think where the
What
bridge
I
is.
remember is this place that we ate at. They had goats. Remember?
That was the place. That was that Irish pub. I think it was the Irish pub. I don't remember. But like I said, it was unremarkable, so it doesn't matter. The food that I
was
had there
good,
was-
but they had goats.
Yeah,
So you marked it in your book as will not return.
I didn't mark it in the book. Period. It's not something I even think twice about. But the Miss Polly's Soul City Cafe is one of these places that I don't remember what possessed Tanya and I to go. Oh, I think Tanya had looked and found that they had those homemade fried pies. I think that's what got us to go in there, wasn't it?
Well, I think so. That, and I saw that they had chicken and waffles on the menu, and I've been teasing you about chicken and waffles. But yeah,
Yeah.
the words fried pies. I mean, seriously, I love fried pies. That's
Well,
like
I had chicken and waffles again when we went to Hollywood at Roscoe's.
yeah, at Roscoe's.
But Roscoe's chicken and waffles don't hold a candle to Miss Polly's.
Sorry, Roscoe.
So
John didn't like them as well.
Snoop Dogg may like those waffles and that chicken and waffles
Let me
out
tell
there.
you
but-
what, I'm just going to straight up, flat out tell you, never take like food advice from Snoop. And I'm going to tell you why. That Snoop Dogg, daggum, he was talking about these vegan pork rinds. Now, I love pork rinds, but I feel guilty
Vegan
as hell
pork rinds.
eating rinds.
Oh, that's
I
another
see
one,
that
Tanya.
There's an alternative here to these pork rinds, and Snoop Dogg is saying, "Man, these are the best ever." And so I ordered like three bags of these pretend pork rinds. Oh my God, y'all, they were awful. Awful. Snoop must have been high when he done that review. They were
Well-
not good. Don't go for the vegan pork rinds.
Tanya,
Just
I got
telling
a
you.
secret for you. Snoop has been known to get high.
Yes, I know.
Well, that's what you
Snoop
said.
been known to get high.
He must have been high.
He must have been
So,
high. Cindy said his wine's. Excuse me.
well, Cindy, let me tell you,
aspirated
don't go for the pork
so
rinds. Those things were terrible. And they're like, oh, they
Take a breath.
taste like real pork rinds. What the fuck? I'm sorry. What? What were you
I hope
thinking?
my mom's
Snoop?
not listening.
I know. Sorry, y'all.
Oh boy, Tanya, you'll
Anyway.
be in trouble.
No,
if
mom's not on
listening.
tonight. You're safe, Tanya.
Glenn, that's for you, buddy.
Language alert. Language alert. But that reminds me, Tanya, I have not uncovered my Snoop Dogg cookbook yet. The Snoop cookbook hasn't found its way onto the
Downstairs
bookshelf.
yet? Huh.
I know where it is. I just haven't moved it out here yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So,
Snoop
it's
Dogg
vegan pork
guys.
rinds,
If
y'all.
if you want an entertaining cookbook, go get Snoop Dogg's cookbook. It says from crook to cook, and the tagline says a dog's got to eat.
Yeah.
It's hilariously funny, this cookbook.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've been known to occasionally pepper my commentary with F bombs.
Oh, my mom. You wait till I tell my mom. I'm telling mom that you cussed on the live stream, Tanya.
Oh, Lord.
did she-
Well,
Don't you
I
dare,
just,
John. Don't you dare.
it's okay. Here's the deal. I know that I'm Janice's favorite daughter-in-law, mainly because I'm the only one. But I know that I'm her favorite daughter-in-law. Janice picked me, y'all. Janice picked me.
She did.
Janice and I worked together, and she picked me. And she's like, "Now this I want for my daughter-in-law." She sure did.
Well, honestly, here's a note that nobody knows until I tell them. If it had not been for my mom, I probably never would have met you, or I wouldn't have known you at
We
all.
wouldn't have met for the second time.
Yeah. So, yep. All right. Well,
And Greg says I
Cheers
need to
to
go
Mom.
to church this Sunday.
oh boy.
7 Hail Marys and you'll be fine.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh goodness. All right. Well, I'm done.
Stick a fork in it.
Yeah.
So,
It's been a long day for me. I'm done.
wisdom: do eat chicken and waffles. Don't eat vegan.
Don't eat vegan pork rinds, no matter how much Snoop might like them. Snoop's been hanging around Martha Stewart too long, I think.
Well, Martha didn't say that she liked pork rinds, but if Martha can pork rinds, I'm gonna be like, "Daggum, Martha, you and Snoop have been smoking too much."
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap. I don't have a. I'm looking. I invited another guest, but I didn't get a response, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm going to try to. Maybe I'll talk to Freddie and Mike Stone about getting them on here.
And you still gotta get Janice on here.
Well, Janice has an open invitation to come on here with me. Is she with us tonight?
I haven't seen her on.
Janice, are they even home yet? No, they are home. They are
They're
back.
home.
So yeah, I haven't seen Janice on. So yeah, we'll get Janice on here. Janice saw a new cooker at Atlanta Grill Company that she's hot to buy. It's a system called the Birch Barrel. If Atlanta Grill Company decides to carry that, which I don't know if they are yet, but if they do, I'll bring one here because the guy that runs that company has been trying already to get me to take one. And if Atlanta Grill Company picks that product up, I'll get one of these things here. This Birch Barrel thing's pretty intriguing. It's like cooking over a campfire, and but you got your campfire contained. It's got this big tripod thing that you've got a big kettle hanging from. You build the fire in the bottom of your kettle. The fire grate can raise or lower in that kettle from the grill grate, and then the grill grate can raise and lower above the fire. So it's kind of like a contained Santa Maria style system. It's intriguing to say the least. So if Atlanta Grill Company brings that in, I'll get one of those up here to do some demos on it. If not, if you're interested in seeing it, look it up. It's called the Birch Barrel, and it's BURCH Barrel. They're really it's an intriguing system. It's kind of a rustic cooking technique that looks like a lot of fun. In the greater scheme of barbecue and smoker systems that I've seen in the past, this one's not that expensive. It's like I think it's $11.95. I think. Don't hold me to that because I don't remember, but it's not a $2,000, $1,500, $2,000. Everything's expensive in barbecue anymore unless you want to cook on a Weber. That's a conclusion I've come to. It's getting crazy, Jeff. The prices of this stuff.
Well, John, I'm getting ready to sign off. It's been a long day for me.
All right, Jeff. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Well, I'll put those Umai bags in the mail to you where you'll get them next week.
Cool.
I'd like for you to try some dry age, and I think there's 2 bags in there where you could do a ribeye if you wanted to, and maybe do a New York strip later, or do 2 ribeyes or whatever. They're easy to use. You got a vacuum sealer?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you'll need a vacuum sealer to seal those up. So, yeah, I'll get those on the way to you. So I appreciate it. Yep, it is Father's Day weekend. Yeah, I got to work this weekend, so it's just another weekend for me in the pits. So yeah, Anthony put the link up there. It's birchbarrel.com. That's what these things are. And I'll find out some more from Gary and Jason if they're planning. I asked Gary about it, and he said they were thinking about it, and that's all I got out of them. I don't know if they've made a decision on that yet or not. So guys, y'all have a good week, and we'll see you next week.